Um, I think we're live. Chat, are we live? YouTube, please work here. Uh, please work. Yep, we're live. What is up, people of the internet? That is me, Real American, back in with a new stream, and that is right. We are live on this beautiful March 25th, 2026. I hope everyone's having a great day. I'm having a great day myself, and we're early for once. Yeah, that's a first. Yeah, we're actually early. So, yeah, yeah, we're on time. I would say a minute early for once. So, yeah, we have a lot to talk about today, especially as it pertains to the Florida special elections last night, which was let's face it was pathetic. Now, does this prove a blue wave is building? Not necessarily, but at the same time, at some point, we cannot just keep ignoring the pathetic showings we've seen across the board. So, we have a lot to talk about. And before we get into it, don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends, and of course, join the channel today. These are all great ways to support the daily content. And if you have any questions or concerns or want to support the channel even further, the best way is sending super chats via the chat. Again, I'll read through as much chat as possible, but usually super chats are the best way to get your questions answered. So again, send super chats, share the stream on Twitter, Facebook, wherever you share the stuff at. Like the stream, subscribe, all that good stuff. But okay, so a lot to talk about today. A lot to talk about with Florida. We got to talk about good Lord, DHS shutdown. Got to talk about the Iran news, oil prices, a lot's going on. So let's get into the main story of the stream that I really want to talk about. And listen, again, I'm not one of those people that think every special election matters and a race to have 5 people voting in it, that's proof of a blue wave. No. But at the same time, I do think that there are some very concerning results from last night. This was in the state of Florida. There were 3 special elections in the state of Florida, and all 3 of them are Republican leaning seats. I think 2 of them are actually safe Republican. One of them is more like leaning. But either way, these are races that, even if they're closer than they should still be fairly Republican. Well, look at this. This is the results from last night. Florida's 51st was the most Republican seat, I think, and Republicans won by roughly 9 points. Again, kind of an underperformance, 8 to 9 points, but they still won by nearly a safe margin. And look at the turnout. Look at this. 15,000 votes. That is nothing. You're gonna notice a continued trend with every special. Nobody's voting. Nobody's voting in these special elections, no matter where it is. So yeah, Florida's 51st. It stayed Republican, but the other 2, at least this one right here, Florida's 87th. This was kind of a symbolic race because this district includes Mar-a-Lago. And Trump was involved in it directly. He actively promoted the candidate for the GOP, making a big deal about it. And they still lost by a close margin. It wasn't like D plus 25 or whatever. And again, look at the turnout. For turnout standards, this was bad. Across the entire state last night, it was pathetic turnout everywhere. So yeah, the Democrat Gregory won by just under 800 votes. It was pathetic because the Republicans put a lot of money in all these races, but really this one also. This is the big one they were talking about. And the issue isn't that they underperformed. It's just the fact that they promoted this race so much. They spent so much money. They spent, I think, up to $1 million in one of these races, and they still lost in a Republican district. That's the problem here. Again, don't be like Rich Bears and say, this special election from God knows where proves a blue tsunami is building. Not really. But it is true at the same time that Republicans, they have to wake up on special elections. What I don't get why they kind of just ignore these races. And a quick reminder, the electorate in all 3 of these districts was fairly Republican. So either nearly every independent voted Democrat, or a chunk of the Republicans voted Democrat. That's the only way they would have won these races. Do you see the problem with here? Yes, Republicans had, in theory, had decent turnout. But a lot of these independents, who I think, by the way, when you look at these independent voters or quote unquote independent, a good chunk of them are just partisan Dems. I guarantee you look at who voted last night. A lot of these independents usually voted Democrat primaries. So, yeah, I do think that part of the results for the party affiliation is misleading. I think it's better to look at who these people voted for in the past, like what primary they voted in. Are they usually Democrat voters? Are they Republicans? But still, that doesn't really excuse this. If it was an underperformance, that's one thing. That's kind of expected. It's kind of built in at this point. But by this much, turnout was awful. But yeah, I do think overall it was kind of a pretty shitty result. It was not good at all for the GOP last night. Not as bad as some people were claiming. Like, it's not going to be a D plus 20 environment. That's absurd. But still, you got to find a way to get these people out to vote. And that's the whole point. Turnout is everything. I guarantee you these independents that voted are just partisan Dems. That's it. They're just struggling to get out these independent or Republican-leaning voters. They just will not vote. So, yeah, that's kind of the issue last night. A couple super chats go through. A glitch EV for 2. Early like the state of Florida during elections. Yeah. They count votes very quickly in Florida. I'm Battlefield for 2. So what happened? I just got here. We're talking about Florida. Kind of a bad night. Again, not a blue tsunami that some people are pushing, but still not good. We're not talking about R plus 30 seats flipping. These were like R plus 10, R plus 15. Not good, but American Nerd for 6. Terrible news wrap. I saw last night that Stephen Colbert and his son are working with Peter Jackson to make a new Lord of the Rings movie. It's over. I heard about that. Please let that be fake. If they already did ruin Lord of the Rings, but they ruined the original trilogy. Oh my gosh. I hope not. We'll see though. Simple logic for 5. In good news, Mark Holprin said the GOP are favorable on winning the Senate seats in Michigan, New Hampshire, and Georgia. That's significant if that's real. That's kind of weird. If they're winning all these states like that, I don't see how it could be a blue wave. You see the problem here? Which, by the way, that debunks the report that Barris and Barnes were pushing that, oh, Democrats are leading in South Carolina. Remember that? Mark Holprin saying the opposite, that no, some of the internals have Republicans winning. I don't know. Maybe they're right. And this is a weird thing we're going to see this later this year. We're going to see how shit the polls really are. There is something weird going on here with some of these pollsters. But I don't know. The Trump campaign, like, they still seem confident for some reason. I don't know. Are they delusional? Are they getting shitty polls? Or maybe they had the right polls and maybe people like Barris are just off. I don't know. But I do think that is significant if that's real, if Republicans are favored in these states. Because at that point, you're not losing the Senate. I have no clue where this idea came from that South Carolina's competitive. Really? It is insane. All right. Let's see. At this point, I don't know if these seats flip back. I don't know. I mean, it's a weird thing because in Michigan, you have an awful Democrat primary. You're talking about a shit show and a half. It's a 3-way shit fest. Nobody can gain real momentum. It's a joke. And Mike Rogers is the nominee for the GOP. He's united the party behind him. Meanwhile, Democrats, they are having a brutal primary. That is bad. So I don't know what to think. Maybe there is some truth to that. We'll see, I guess. But if we gain the Senate seats in New Hampshire, Georgia, Michigan, and North Carolina, but lose the House, is that enough to call the midterms a wash? Yeah, I think it's a wash. I would argue that's actually a good year for the GOP because theoretically, if this was supposed to be like the best case scenario for Republic or Democrats, if Republicans gain seats in the Senate and Democrats take a small majority in the House, which I don't think it's really possible right now. Could that happen? Sure. But if that occurs, The Democrats are going to get killed at 28. They're going to get obliterated. It's going to get bad. So they're not going to keep the House at 28 in that scenario. Again, not a prediction, but how are we losing seats that are R plus 10? Are we not coming out to vote? Are we complacent? I think part of it is complacency. Some of it is Republicans just don't vote. That is an issue Republicans got to sort out. I don't know how you deal with that. You got to find a way to get these people out to vote because a lot of them, they only voted presidential years. Maybe in a best case scenario, a midterm once in a while. But most of the time, they just don't vote. They just don't vote in midterms. They would impeach Trump, sadly. Oh, they're going to impeach him every day. That's going to be stupid. But let's see. I think GOP will lose the House anyways. Oh, yeah. I think they lose it right now. I still think there's a weird scenario they win it and actually expand the House majority. I'm not saying they're the favorite to do that, but I have a weird feeling about this midterm. Does anybody else have that feeling about this midterm? That it's kind of just a weird feeling surrounding it. I don't know what to think. Because you look at some of the polls for like who voters trust on all the important issues like the economy, foreign policy, immigration, law and order, etc. Republicans are winning on every issue, even the economy. It's close, but they're still winning on the issue of the economy in most polls. Some of it is Democrat, but yeah, I don't know. It's just I have a weird feeling about this cycle. I don't know. Don't know what to think. Virginia failing, Section 2 struck, and Florida getting 5 can definitely win us the House. Well, can Alito write the decision already? Good Lord. It's taken forever. But yeah, if that happens, like I don't see Democrats keeping the House. I really don't. Why did Trump wait until Monday night to endorse someone? No, he endorsed him over the weekend, but yeah, I think that was stupid. I think that's part of the problem too. We're still just not voting early. And really, I think it's what happened here. Democrats had such a huge lead in the early vote, and that's the issue. Bring back swamp the vote. That worked at 24. Get people out to vote, whether it's by mail, early in person, on election day. Tell people to vote. If you can vote early, vote early. But anyways, K-Cup for 5. GOP has to do better emphasizing the importance of local elections. Democrats could constantly say democracy and their voters follow. GOP needs a card like that. Yeah, I think you need to do something with local elections because Democrats, they always promote every election. It can be the most random ass seat ever. It can be some random election in Wyoming. And they make it sound like it's game 7 of the World Series. If we lose this race for, I don't know what, dog catcher or something in like Wyoming, and there's 5 people that could vote, we're going to lose our democracy. I think that's a serious thing Republicans got to look at. I think that these results are inflated because Democrats, they treat every election like game 7. Republicans don't. AJ for 2, US dollar did increase in purchasing power too. Really? I didn't see that. The main problem is we can't inform our voters without also informing Democrats. And currently, Democrats are way more likely to vote. And that, well, the thing is, Democrats are going to vote no matter what. So I disagree with that. You just cannot keep doing this shit of, well, let's wait till a day before election day to vote. Like, no, that's stupid. Democrats banked in a shitload of votes before election day. That's probably why they won. If Republicans actually campaigned on these races like 2 weeks ago, they probably would have won all these races by decent margins. I'm very curious. Does anybody know what the margin for the early vote was? GOP overperformance in Virginia recently. Well, I think it's common sense. I think Virginia is going to be a lot of backlash for Dems this year. I have a weird feeling about that state. Like, they went way too far in some issues. And I do think we're going to see other states as well. Democrats take power, it turns to shit. And immediately, within a year, there's significant backlash. So, I'm Battlefield for 2. You saw that Iran is willing to talk to only to Vance. Excuse me. I heard that. I don't think that's real. I don't think that report's real. I think the White House even denied it. Now they could be lying about it, but very interesting. They want to talk to Vance because Vance is going over to, I think it's Pakistan, to talk to their guys. I don't know what to think. There is a lot of fog of war involved in all of this, so I don't know about Virginia because Nova exists. Oh, I agree with that, but even Nova, there's been some specials there where Republicans killed Democrats politically, of course. Like they're obliterating them everywhere, or I should say, overperforming big time. Let's see. Republicans are probably losing on purpose. I think there's some of that too. Why did like the RNC chair we got now sucks? Why? Has he done one good thing? Whatley did a phenomenal job, and Laura Trump also. But no, we got rid of both of them, and now you gotta get somebody else in there. You need somebody that's actually good as RNC chair. Like, I don't get, like, what does he do all day? The RNC chair. He posts on Twitter that we're going to take a stand for democracy. And that's about it. He has done nothing as RNC chair. Nothing at all. It's been pathetic. Right guy for 5. There's a ballot initiative here in Oregon where they essentially want to ban hunting and basically ban old meat. It's insane. Wait, what? Hold up. That's not real, is it? What? Oregon wants to ban meat? I gotta look this up. AJ for 5. I'm worried if JD Vance goes to the Middle East, he might be assassinated and all hell breaks loose, but that's an extreme side of things. Yeah, that's guys, they have Secret Service. You'll be fine. Oh my god, it's real. Wait, what? This is from a month ago. Okay, it is an actual thing. What the hell? Look at this. Oregon Initiative Petition 28, a ballot measure by animal rights advocates to classify hunting, fishing, and ranching as animal cruelty has collected enough signatures. Oh my gosh. They're going to ban. Yeah, they're just going to ban all meat. You can't hunt. You can't fish. You can't. What? That surprises you? It shouldn't, but still just crazy to think that these people are real. And you know damn well people in Portland are going to vote yes for this. They're going to vote yes for it. And the rest of the state gets fucked over. Situations like this is why I think we need an electoral college by the state. Like what Razor Fist been pushing for years. This is why. For those that don't know, look up Razor Fist's video on the electoral college before the state level. There's got to be a new system in place. This is insane. This impacts the entire state except Portland and Eugene. The rest of the state gets fucked over. And they can't do anything about it because Portland all votes yes. And you came in, wow. This is why we need state electoral colleges. That's my take. Like, you got to do something. I know it sounds insane, but at some point, you cannot just allow one fucking city to dictate the entire state politics. I know in some states a little bit different, like Nevada. I get that, where 80% of the population lives in one city. I get that. But seriously, like Oregon, why should Portland dictate the entire state policies? That's insane. American Nerd for 6. Why the hell are people yet again panicking over a few special elections with super low turnout? How many times do we have to go through this? Well, no, I'm just saying, like, Republicans should not be losing these specials by this much. If they were doing a bit worse, that's one thing. But I don't know. K-Dog for 5. Despite the lackluster showing last night, the momentum Republicans have in Virginia makes up for it. The referendum failing is key. We'll see. We shall see if it fails. You underestimate how unironically moronic the Dems are. It's all how you phrase it on the ballot. Oh my gosh, how do they phrase it? Wait, what? Is it worse than we think? Surely it's not. I gotta look this up. Ballot Initiative 28. There is no way this is real. Okay, this is what somebody posted. Yeah, right here. So apparently this is what's in it. This is not the wording of it. This is not the wording of the referendum, but this is what it would do. And of course, it's called the Peace Act. Yeah, everybody, this is peaceful. Bans all hunting, fishing, and trapping. Deer season, elk hunts, bass fishing, even rodent control on your land criminalized. Makes raising and slaughtering livestock a crime. Oh my gosh. Outlaws of normal ranch practices. Dehorning, castration, branding. Oh my gosh. Forces impossible pet level care rules. Adequate shelter. Bedding, exercise for every cow in coastal Oregon. Lifetime ban on owning animals after one conviction. Takes effect in just 30 days. Oh my, what the hell is Oregon doing? What is this shit? So, you can't do anything. You can't fish. You can't hunt. You can't you can't trap. You can't ranch. You can't do anything. So, question. Where is Oregon gonna get their food from? Right guy for 2. My bad if I went off topic. No, this is this is a good conversation to have. This is fucking crazy. How can anyone like defend this? It's South Park. Yeah, this is shit you see in South Park. Guys, we have to. So, okay, serious question. If this passes somehow, where does the food come from in the state of Oregon? I guess the ban owning animals if you have an animal abuse conviction is good, but not the rest suck. I mean, yeah, I get that part, but really, they phrase that tiny part in that most people probably agree with. That, hey, if you're a piece of shit, maybe you shouldn't have any, you should not be able to own animals. Eric for 5, grew up in New York State. Whenever I think the state is the worst, the West Coast reminds me they exist. Yeah, at least New York, the people there, they're halfway sane. But still, this is crazy. Other states. Yeah, I'm curious. I gotta find the actual wording for this. I gotta find the wording for this. Because there's no, I gotta find this. This is crazy. And hold up. We actually have somebody that just joined the stream. Yeah, it's Real Texan.
Actually, I'm Muhammad Benjamin, peace be upon him. But anyway.
Oh my gosh. I gotta look into this. So apparently Oregon's about to ban all meat.
Okay. I might need a source for that, neighbor.
Let me pull this up. Let me find the full text.
That sounds like some, I don't know, man.
It's actually real. Where is it? Yeah, right here. So I said in the chat, this is actual real thing. This is from a month ago, but apparently it's gonna be on the ballot later this November. So it's called the Peace Act in Oregon. I can't find a chat. I can't find the full text for some reason. I'll try to find it though. Don't worry, chat. I'll try to look for it. I don't know what to think. This is just nuts. All right. K-Cup for 5. Look at the definite all of this. Doesn't this also technically kill any form of dairy industry in Oregon? I know that isn't their thing, but still, yeah, it kills all these industries. So you can't fish, you can't hunt, you can't trap. Deer season's banned. You can't do anything. You can't be a rancher, nothing. I am Battlefield for 5. Thoughts and influences being black-pilled by the war. I can understand why some are black-pilled, but some people gotta chill out a little bit. But glitch Eevee for 2. You forget the food comes from the store, obviously. Yeah, that's real. Real Texan, you know the food comes from the store?
Yeah, that's what I've been made aware of. Yeah, we don't
Oh,
need farms. We don't need
yeah.
farms. We just need,
But
yeah,
like, I'm trying to figure this out. Okay, if they
grocery stores.
ban meat, so like, um, I, I just can't get over this. I just can't get over how like this is actually real. If you hunt, you're a felon, basically. There's no fucking way a court's gonna allow this to stand. There's no way. This has to violate some kind of law, right? Right? This violates the Constitution, right? Theoretically.
Hey, I would say so. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. All right. What happened vlogging through history? I don't know. Was there drama with him? I don't know.
I don't know about that, but
He had I know he makes good videos, but that's about it. Yeah, so I don't know what to think about this. Thanks for bringing this up. I think it was Rye Guy that brought this up. Yep, Rye Guy brought it up. Yeah, thank you for bringing this up. This is crazy. Guys, we're gonna ban like okay, let's say that it goes through and the court's allowed to stand. Where are they gonna get the food from? In the state of Oregon.
store.
Yeah, the grocery store. But like this is just insane. One part of it's fine, like it bans people from animal abuse to owning another animal, but still. American Nerd for 2. Isn't Oregon the hippie state? I mean, kind of. It's kind of out there. It's where Antifa is located. So, well, namely Portland, but anyways, the store. Gosh, it's gonna get dumb. All right. So, we have some pretty big news that broke a little while ago. So President Trump is now suggesting he will mobilize the National Guard to go to our airports. Right here. So this next part of the stream I want to get into, this is over DHS funding, which now Democrats, they realize the deal they were getting was kind of shit, where we would still fund ICE through reconciliation for 10 years. Now they want the whole thing where it's like, no, we want every reform now. But either way, so President Trump just put out a new statement. He said, blame the Democrats for the airport's mess. They want our country to do badly. They want our country to fail. They broke the already signed bill because they want to take care of criminals who enter our country illegally rather than American citizens. Thank you to the great ICE patriots for helping. It makes a big difference. But at the end here, he says, I may call up the National Guard for more help. President Donald John Trump. So there is a non-zero chance that National Guard gets mobilized for airports and the other stuff. Now, again, Trump has been very skeptical to use the National Guard. He's been very hesitant to do so. But I think if this gets out of control, we're going to. Because, guys, I don't think it's a good idea to let our airports turn to shit. And MAGA Mao joined right when I talk. Oh gosh, thank you for joining.
Talking about what?
No, we're talking about the National Guard and the airport stuff. So basically, the National Guard might get called up by President Trump.
I think we should just put Boston nationalists in charge of the airport security.
Oh, gosh,
I think just feed him his chicken sandwiches, and then he'd be in a pretty good position.
All right.
That is very true.
So, okay, yeah. For those that don't know, if you live under a rock, DHS right now is not funded, which is insane. I don't give a shit what you think about ICE. Why do you think it's a good idea to defund DHS? Like, you do realize it doesn't just fund ICE, right? And even then, ICE and Border Patrol, they're funded through 29. So this changes nothing. But yeah,
they have the IQ of like a bug, dude.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it funds what? TSA. It funds what's the other ones? TSA, the Coast Guard, I think, FEMA. You know, some very important things that if a disaster happens, you would want those funded properly. Now it's getting so bad that the head of TSA is already saying they may have to have some airports shut down. I'm not even joking. apparently they're running so low on manpower and money that some smaller airports across the country may shut down in the next couple of weeks. This is fucking insane. What do you guys think about this? What do you guys think what the DHS shutdown and TSA being not funded?
I think we shouldn't shut down the government. I think
I agree.
shocker. I think we should have the model Europe has, where if you don't pass a budget, it just runs off the previous budget, like no dirt.
Yeah, I agree with that. My
That seems
opinion is
obvious.
just to say, like, okay, if you don't get it through a certain date, it's still funded, but make it like an automatic 10% cut until it's fully funded again. Or
Yeah.
something. Like not the shit of, oh, there's no money at all. You can't do anything. It's all over. Like, no, that's horseshit. And by the way,
It's over.
why can a party in the minority dictate funding? Why?
Exactly.
My opinion, does any other country on earth do this?
No, not a single other country does this.
My opinion is with funding, it should be a simple majority. Because of shit like this. It doesn't matter what it's for. If it's for the budget, you should not have shutdowns. You should, if you have a shutdown, it'd be a 10% cut, and that's it. And it stays 10% cut until they agree to something. A glitch EV for 2. I still can't go over Oregon trying to ban meat. Yeah, that's fucking insane. Cake up
What
for
are they
2.
trying to ban?
I'm not even joking. They have a referendum coming up this November where if it passes, it would ban all hunting, fishing, trapping, ranching, basically outlaw all ranch practices, basically makes it impossible to get meat in Oregon.
I just feel that's gonna fail. Because didn't gun control fail in Oregon or like barely pass?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's DOA, but yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
And the filibuster, at least for appropriations. I agree. When it comes to the budget,
Yeah.
like this is insane. I get the idea, like what the guys. I get the idea of like you know the idea was you need 60 votes in the Senate for everything because it's supposed to be a slowdown in the system on purpose. So crazy shit doesn't get rammed through in a day. The whole point of it was like, hey, maybe it's slow down to talk about this. Now just know that you have one party right now holding the country hostage.
Yeah.
This is horseshit. This is absolute horseshit. That the party in the minority, not in just one chamber, in both chambers, they don't have the president, they have nothing, and they could dictate the funding for the government? How can anyone say this is a good idea? How? It's never slow down.
Yeah, real quick, a public service announcement. You live in the state of Wisconsin. In-person early voting started yesterday, so get your ass to the
Yay.
polls, get off the couch and vote.
We're gonna get crushed.
You don't get
And
to
ra-
complain unless you actually vote or actually.
And Rap, you should vote too. Fat, go
Anyways.
vote today. Go vote today.
Yeah.
All right, I'm Battlefield for 5. You saw that Trump was about to put out an executive order to have banks give information on immigration status customers. Could have debanked them. They're still going to do that. From what I understand, they're having issues with some of these orders where a judge is striking down immediately. They want to make sure it's actually like foolproof. And there are questions about could they actually do that legally, but I don't know.
Also, another public service announcement. Starting today, I will be at CPAC.
Yay.
You won't get to see Trump, but he'll get to see
CPAC
the,
is be awful this
He'll
year.
get to
I don't
see,
know about
He'll
okay.
get to see the president of Poland and the Shah of Iran.
Okay, the Shaw, he's speaking. I think he's speaking Thursday, and I'm not sure when Thursday, which probably means I won't get to see him. But we will
Okay.
see.
You have the hypothetical ability. Also, real Texas is quite literally the center of the political universe because now it seems like the national convention will be held in Labor Day and it'll be in Dallas. And if you don't
Wait,
know,
Dallas
real
now?
Texas. Yeah, they changed it from Vegas, which makes sense. I'll tell you this: there is an unspoken rule in politics. You never have a national convention in Vegas because you don't want like party staff being caught doing things.
Yeah, I
that-
guess it is Vegas.
Also,
I guess.
Dallas is kind of in the center of the country, so it makes sense.
I still
No,
think
I'm
they
like,
should.
Real Texas. is always living between Houston and Dallas. So he's just lucky, bro.
I still think it should have been Phoenix or Utah, but that's my opinion.
I mean, Boston Nationalists.
Phoenix, but
Boston Nationalists said it should have been Nashua, New Hampshire. I wonder why.
Oh gosh.
But,
okay. K-Cup for 2. Bring the TSA head to the Senate and say go ham. Yeah, I agree. American Nerd for 10. From Kellen Coolidge Project, Trump said he would consider a role for Ron DeSantis' administration after DeSantis completes his term as Florida governor. Bonnie's replacement, maybe. I think he's going to get out of a spot somewhere. I don't know what, but he'll get something, I think. We'll see.
Some other news, by the way, out of Texas. Aaron Wrights, who I supported for Attorney General, has endorsed Mays Middleton.
Oh, really?
Yes, he's endorsed Mays Middleton for Texas Attorney General, which means that I am proud to endorse MAGA Mays Middleton
MAGA
to be Texas Attorney General.
MAGA Mays.
So if you live in Texas, vote for Mays Middleton. He'll be a good successor to Ken Paxton. He didn't support impeaching Ken Paxton like Chip Roy did.
Okay. Anyways, Trump just put out a new statement about ICE. Yeah, just bashing Democrats like usual. In other news, the sky's blue. All right, so let's talk about the DHS situation. So, from what I understand, Democrats, they bailed in the last second for the deal they had. They had a deal done to keep the DHS funded, but nope, they bailed at the last second. I wonder why. So at some
we
point,
should start calling them DACAs. You know, Dems always chicken out.
Yeah.
You know?
Listen. At some point, you got to nuke the filibuster for this shit. You're never gonna reach a deal with these people. I swear, if John Thune agrees the shit they're pushing now, don't vote this year. That's my take on it. But anyways, it's
No.
yes.
No.
If they agree to some of the shit they're trying to propose, yes, there should be a boycott in some areas. But
why shouldn't you vote for Tom Tiffany because John Thune's?
Well, you know what I mean. I'm just saying, like, John Thune is now pushing this idea of, oh, well, we can ram through everything through reconciliation, which I agree there should be another reconciliation package. But guys, the Save America Act is not going to pass through it. That's not going to happen.
No, I'm a big opponent of ever sitting out elections. I think it's stupid and it doesn't accomplish anything.
Luke, I literally just said if they actually go through with the shit Democrats want.
I know, but at the end of the day.
No, Luke, I don't think you understand. If they allow for judicial warrants to arrest illegal immigrants, it's over. You're not going to deport anybody. So.
No, I think that's stupid, but still, I wouldn't sit out any election.
I literally just said, like, in that scenario, this is the third time I said this.
I get it's in that scenario, but still. But yeah, I don't think we'll have to deal with that thing.
You better not. But yeah, so I think DHS, listen, I say just fuck it. Nuke the filibuster on this. Like, why do we allow a party in the minority in both chambers to control the budget? Why? That is bullshit. And you know, it's democracy. But it's like, why do they get any kind of power on this? And on top of that, how do I say this? The Democrat base is so batshit crazy. Now, it doesn't matter what you say or do. Republicans don't understand this. They really think, oh, Democrats are so crazy that they're basically going to abandon them. No, they're not. No, they don't. No, they aren't. They're going to vote Democrat no matter what. Like, at some point, you just got to nuke the filibuster on most stuff. You just can't keep this up. It's getting ridiculous. K-Cup for 2. If you duck out like that, it should be auto pass. I don't know. Just no more shit out a shutdown and everybody's impacted. And one party can hold the country hostage like this. Bipartisan. Yeah. Every time there's a bipartisan deal, it's usually shit for everybody else. When was the last good bipartisan deal? Does anybody know? Ever? They're like, when they say bipartisan deals, it's usually dog shit. It helps nobody. All right. Where we at? Can we talk? Hold on. Where we at? Shit. I feel like Trump should pass the Save America Act of 24 when Virginia was a red state. Well, again, you need the Senate to pass it, and they're not going to do it. They're going to play this game with reconciliation, which, again, I'm not even against the idea of using reconciliation. I would argue, okay, look into it for the Save America Act. But for the rest of it, yeah, I agree. Force through reconciliation, ICE funding, and other parts of the government for the next 10 years. So Democrats can't keep doing the same shit every year. They can block the budget. No, it's horseshit. I think that's what Republicans should do. Look at reconciliation to increase ICE funding and other stuff as well, and codify more of Trump's stuff. But at the same time, you still got to keep up with the Save America Act. You're not going to get it through a reconciliation. You're just not. Let's see.
I say we just drop Al Carbo on the DNC headquarters.
How many times do you make that joke?
Many, and I'm not going to stop doing it because he's Al Carbo.
The thing is,
he's the Pope of my Discord now that he was elected.
The thing is, no matter how much a Democrat screw the constituents over, they still fucking vote Democrat. Well, look at what happened last year. They cut their own voters' benefits off, and they said, if you don't vote for us, we're going to keep your benefits cut off. And if you vote for us, we'll bring them back. That's what happened. It's horseshit. Like that. That's why I'm saying that should be illegal. There should be an automatic 10% cut, but that's it. None of the shit of everything's defunded. The party not in power controls the budget. I mean, I never heard of something so stupid. I get for most legislation, fine. You need 60 votes to advance it to a debate. I get that. But seriously, you need 60 votes in the Senate just to pass a budget? And they could just ram through whatever they want because they can hold the entire country hostage? Really? Dumb. Dumb.
Very low IQ, some would say.
Yeah. I don't know. We should definitely propose the filibuster as a constitutional amendment. No. The only future constitutional amendment I would support is capping the Supreme Court. That's my take. That's the only constitutional amendment I really support right now. I think it should be capped at 9. And they can only expand it if like 2/3 of both chambers support it. Or something. That's what it should be. That's my opinion, but I think that's what should be the next amendment. Cap the Supreme Court at 9. Unless, again, both chambers agree to increase it, with 2/3. And then the problem is John Thune doesn't want to touch filibuster, and I can understand why. However, I'm not too critical of Thune for this because there's not much he could do. Well, yeah, I mean, there's just not enough support. That's the issue. And Mike Lee's been trying to explain this. They don't have enough votes to nuke the filibuster. It's stupid, but they just don't. At the same time, these same people don't want to do a talking filibuster. It's very dumb. Let's see.
Again, this is why you guys vote in primaries.
Yeah. You win elections in primaries most of the time. So, and a repeal of the Senate election amendment. My take on the Senate, the senators. I said this before. I think that amendment's a big disaster. Direct election of senators. That it oddly enough caused more problems than helped. I know that sounds weird.
The whole point was initially people were buying Senate seats, but now that's exactly what's happening.
But even worse, it's more blatant.
Yeah.
It's more blatant. And the thing with like the senators is, guess what? They have to I don't know how to explain this, but with the Senate, if you're elected there, you're there for as long as you want it, especially if you're in a deep red or deep blue state. If you want the seat for your entire life, you have it. No matter what you do. That's the fucking problem. There's got to be a system. I think there should be a recall of senators. I think there should be a system like that. After 2 years, if a chunk of the electorate supports a some sort of referendum on the or a recall on the senator, there should be a recall. That's my take on it. This idea that they could stay in office for 6 years, have no way to hold them accountable. That's the fucking problem. There's got to be a new system in place.
I agree. Sounds pretty good.
Yeah. Run good candidates of primary people like Lindsey Graham. But yeah, just run good candidates. Seriously, get rid of Paul Dans and Mark Lynch. I have nothing against those two, but do you really think it's a good idea to publicly say we need more MTGs and Thomas Masseys? That's not too smart politically. That's the fucking issue. Like, yes, you have good people like Paxton or whatever, but like Mark Lynch, it's just like, really? We need more Thomas Masseys? Good luck getting Trump's backing. Hell, he's already backing Lindsey Graham for a reason. Rap, that would backfire on Republicans because Republicans won't show up for the regular election. What? What are you talking about? I don't see how that really impacts anything because you still have congressional races and governorships. Like, I think it should be picked by the state legislators for the Senate. That's always my opinion. That was always the intention. But also add a recall system. So fucking dumb shits like Mitch McConnell can't be elected in 2020 and knows he's retiring in 6 years, so there's nothing anybody can do about him. There's nothing.
Yeah, if senators are going to have direct elections, they shouldn't have 6-year terms. That's another thing.
I agree. There should be some kind of like balance in the system. And if you want to keep the terms the same, make it a recall. So it forces Mitch McConnell to either act halfway decently or you're out.
Again, remember, a large chunk of the Republican senators who voted to impeach were just reelected or just elected. And
that's a fucking problem. They know they don't got to worry about shit for 6 years.
Like, that's what Cassidy's doing now. He's trying to act like it never happened. And
he's a pro-Trump MAGA Republican. There should be a recall system for every office except the president. And not the House. Because with the House, the term's only 2 years long. So can't really do that much damage 2 years, theoretically, but senators, I think there should be a recall system. You can't do the shit of, oh yeah, I can be elected and no one to retire in 6 years, so I don't have to represent anybody. I can just be a rubber stamp for whatever the hell I want to vote for. Let's see. Should Senate terms be every 4 years? No, I think 6 is fine. But better systems. You gotta do a recall and state legislators pick the senators. But that's my take. K-Cup for 2, no rap. Remember rules for thee, but not for me. Yeah, that's real. All right. So I do think at the end of the day, what other amendments do you want to support, Luke? Would you want to support, I should say. Theoretically.
What amendments?
Yeah, like ideas. Since we're on the subject anyways about it.
For the Senate, I think, again, go back to state legislators. I wouldn't be opposed to a recall. At the same time, though, I've been my take on the whole voting situation is I think frankly a lot of times we've given too much voting power to people. And I think I don't like the democratization of everything. I think that's a negative.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I think that's part of the problem we're in right now because when every seat has an election attached to it, guess what? That makes every position like less like, how do you describe it? Like less based on like the skill of somebody like on that job.
Yeah, but more so. That's what I'll say. When I say I'm okay with a recall on senators, I think it should be done. You would need a very high amount of like signatures to get it. I'm talking
I agree.
Like 25 to 30% of registered voters at least would need to sign on.
Yeah, I agree that there's got like, and also I think there should be a system through the state legislator. They can recall the senator.
It should be like, look, none of us like Gavin Newsom, but like, what percent of the registered voters sign that petition? like I don't think
that's
how much money that wasted and nothing was done. You need to show that a serious
it has actual not just people who oppose
the governor. And again, I'm not a fan of news. So, like the Wisconsin governor recall back in
Oh,
2012.
they're still like, and they got crushed. They got
They lost by
obliterated.
more than they did in 2010. Like,
Yeah. We have too many elected positions. I agree. I think people understand like not every single seat needs to be elected. That is stupid. Like, I understand fine, you know, that you got your local elections, you got for the state, for the federal, but do you really need these elections for every position?
yeah.
Because again, then people are more focused on their next election and they're not focused on their actual job for every position. Again,
Mhm.
there's some aspects where you want that, like for governor and stuff, but still, it's too much. A glitch EV for 2. I believe House terms should be 4 years. No, absolutely not. You're gonna end up like the UK then. American Nerd for 10. Here in Alabama, the state house and Senate members are elected every 4 years. Why do we do that with the federal government and presidential years so we don't have to worry about midterms? Well, I'm fine with midterms. I just think they've gotten too crazy. They've gotten too wild. What was the original intention of them? The original point of the midterms was just for the House and some local elections. That was the intention of it, not every single position known to man in that year. Recalls very rarely succeed. Oh, that's actually false. Recalls are actually very powerful. People for
Powerful. It's
yeah,
very
I mean,
powerful.
people forget like
Powerful.
before Scott Walker survived his, how many actually survived the recall before him? It is
Yeah, but now the recall method, I'm honestly shocked we didn't use it. If Tiffany wins, I'm sure Dems will use it.
oh, they're going to,
Um,
yeah.
Which, by the way, I think he's actually going to do it. I
Yeah, good luck to Dems. Nominate that schizo. Good luck.
somehow like I was like last year with Barnes and Nuts. I was like, you guys actually are nominating like one of the worst candidates who could actually lose. And then now they've proven me wrong. They might not nominate him. They might out nominate someone who's more schizophrenic and more left wing.
Do it.
Like genuinely insane.
Yeah, we need it. Let's see. Why? Because they're currently force mode campaigning than actually doing their job. Well, yeah, that's another
Hey, guys,
problem.
I gotta
All right,
crash.
yeah, see ya. But yeah, like that is another issue we do got with the current system we got, where people are like with the House, like everyone's focused on the next election. Again, that is such a like because we're now in a constant mode of campaigning every day, every minute. Everyone's in office is an election. Like it's they're prepared for the next election. That's an issue. Again, I don't know how you deal with that. There's got to be a lot of reform because this 24/7 election crap I think hurts Americans a lot more than people think. Because when everything's an election, every day there's something new. Everyone thinks about the next election. They don't focus on the current moment and like what we got to do to fix the country. I actually think this is a serious issue. K Cup for 2. Walker survived how many recounts and recalls? Yeah, it's crazy. American Nerd for 2. How many statewide politicians have been recalled? There's been a few, but as of late, it's become kind of worthless. Yeah, like you got Scott Walker, then Gavin Newsom. They survive easily. Yeah, I think there's got to be a new system. Like there's got to be ideas for like fundraising because this is insane. Where listen, I'm glad Republicans are able to raise this much money, but maybe we should not be allowed to fundraise this much money before even 2026. Like they were raising $500 million then. I think half the problem is fundraising. That is half the issue. You have constant fundraising you have to deal with. You got to do it every single day. You have to campaign constantly or you lose. Eric for 5. That's why I don't support term limits for Supreme Court justices. It makes it seem too much like an elected position. I agree. That's a big issue. It should not be an elected position. That's why I'm against term limits for Supreme Court justices. Should there be a salary cap of sorts of fundraising? You know, an idea that I actually, Andrew Yang, I know he's kind of a meme now. He actually had a good idea on this front. It's like democracy dollars or whatever, where you get $100 each person gets to spend on candidates for fundraising, and that's it. I actually like that system. Like everybody gets $100 no matter what, and they can spend on any candidate. And if they don't use it, they don't use it. It was something like that. I think that's actually a much better system we got. It's not perfect, but it's better than shit of, oh, you have to spend 20, you fundraised 100 million in one night from like 2 people. Like, no, it's stupid. I think there should be like fundraising reform. I agree with that. Salary cap. I don't know. I think a salary cap, how do you decide like how much money you can get? How much is reasonable? Does it keep up with inflation? I don't know. When Republicans ever learn to vote for Republicans in every election? Yeah, that's an issue. In Illinois, the Supreme Court is gerrymandered. Yeah, people forget about that. It wasn't, and then they made one decision they were against, and they gerrymandered them. So, should special elections be outlawed? No. I don't know how that would work. Yeah, the idea that the Yane was pushing, again, I'm not saying it's 100% perfect, but the idea was there's too much money in politics in the first place. There's too much big money, especially. So instead, it would cap the amount of money each person could spend to $100, but they get $100 from the government to spend on. And you don't have to use the money on candidates. But if you do, well, you can spend up to $100, and that's it for the entire cycle. I think there should be other changes as well, but yeah. America noted for only 2 governors have been successfully recalled. Yeah, but yeah, it used to be more easier to recall people, but yeah. I don't know. Outside the irrelevant special elections, what's the news? Trump's gonna call up the National Guard maybe for the airports, and DHS funding is still going nowhere. So, hot take: you shouldn't be allowed to receive money from a super PAC in another state. Oh, I agree. But then you gotta worry about like, okay, then they could just start like, what's a shitty like super PAC everybody hates? The one that APAC has. They would just start APAC Georgia and then APAC like Wyoming or something. That's like that's the issue. But yeah, I agree. Like, there's gotta be some way to stop like outside money from influencing everything. So it's not good. Not good at all. So I guess we got some pretty big news a little while ago. Hold up. We have breaking news from CNN. Hold on here. CNN is reporting that state PACs are even worse. Yeah, there are some really bad state PACs. But yeah, right here. So right here, CNN reports that Trump admin officials are working to arrange a meeting in Pakistan this weekend to discuss an off-ramp in the war with Iran. The current plans have Vice President J.D. Vance traveling to the country and possibly other top admin officials. So we're sending Vance to Pakistan. It's been confirmed. Guys, if this isn't proof that we're getting close to the war ending, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not saying that it's going to be it's going to end next week or whatever, but now Iran is agreeing to talk. And I know they have that ridiculous list of demands where it's like, we got to pay Iran a bunch of money. They own the strait. It's like, no, you don't. But yeah, JD Vance is going to Pakistan, it looks like. Will be a big test for him. Very significant. We're sending the vice president into Pakistan. So. Also, Democrats can easily launder the money to be local. Well, yeah, that's the issue. And you got to find a way to ban that. There's a difference between like fundraising a fuckload and then what Democrats do with like Act Blue, where, oh, this money magically appears through a totally legitimate PAC or whatever. Yeah, sure. This will be the make or break on Vance 28. If the discussions fail, then I think Rubio will be the nominee. You know, this is a good question. If Vance excuse me, if he fails here, what are the long-term impacts of this? This is a good question because this is kind of his, like, before this, what has Vance really done as vice president? Seriously, what has he done? Like, he's in charge of that fraud commission they're working on, but outside of that, like, he's really done nothing. This is his moment to prove that he can be Trump's successor. And well, I think he can actually succeed. I think JD Vance could, in fact, succeed and prove himself here. But at the same time, if this goes south, yeah, that's a big concern for him politically. I don't know. I don't think, like, I think if they're going to decide early on who's going to run for president, but if Vance fails here, I don't know what to think. American Order for 2. If the summit succeeds, he can help Vance at 28. If it succeeds, he's with the nominee. Because any doubt of Vance being a good, like, president would go down the toilet here. Nobody's voting on this shit. No, it just sets like a symbolic message to people. That's what I mean. I want to give Rubio momentum. That's what I meant. I'm not saying he's not going to be the nominee. I'm just saying, like, if he succeeds here, does a great job, I think it does kind of, for now, silent the Rubio crowd a little bit. So, we'll see, though. We shall see. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Vance is the finance chair for the RNC. Yeah. American Order for 2. Vance made very good speeches and interview answers. Yeah, he's a good speaker. He is a good speaker. He knows what he's talking about. He's smart. But really, he hasn't done anything. Kill tie-breaking votes here and there, and that's about it. But we'll see. I doubt Vance goes to summit without Rubio, though. I have a feeling this is a moment for both of them. Yeah, maybe. I don't. Do they? I don't think. Actually, I don't think they're sending both of them to Pakistan. They're gonna send maybe one because in this type of situation where it's right next to Iran, shit could get real. I don't think you want to send the president or the vice president and the secretary of state in the same area. Maybe not a good idea. I think we're gonna send one of the two, and it's gonna be probably Vance. Make Vance a chairman of the RNC. Yeah, he should be. Make him the chair of the RNC. I get criticized Vance for some of the stuff, but this Rubio glaze is manufactured. Oh, it's fake, yeah. Rubio's done fantastic. I think he's a great Secretary of State and would be a good vice president. Well, again, do you really want him as vice president? I don't know, but we'll see. And what about Vance in Pakistan, even with the Secret Service? Well, yeah, that is a concern. You're right next to Iran like that, and then you have all that shit going on there. That's why I don't think they're going to bring Rubio along. Because it's too risky. You don't want the Secretary of State and the Vice President in the same room like that. I think Marco Rubio should be the nominee. I disagree. I think his stock has gone up considerably, but I still think Vance is the nominee. I get why people like Rubio, but like somebody said in chat, I think some of it's bullshit. American Order for 2. Maybe Vance brings Deputy Secretary of State. Yeah, something like that. I like Kemp. Kemp's kind of losing it. He's gonna get crushed in Georgia with that dumbass he ran for Senate. So, all right. So, if anyone got any more super chats, any more questions, concerns, whatever, send them now. Last calls are super chats. Last calls are super chats, everybody. Yeah, so I think this is good news that we're actually having a meeting in Pakistan between the US and Iran. Will this lead to anything? Maybe not. But I do think we are getting close. Actually, let me pull up what they actually said. Right here. So the Trump admin officials are working to arrange a meeting in Pakistan this week. The current plans have Vice President Vance and possibly other top admin officials traveling there. But the others caution that the timing of the expected trip is fluid, and as is the location who may attend. Turkey has also risen as potential location for the talks. I think I'd rather have Turkey. With Turkey being a NATO member, I think we're better off with Turkey. I don't trust Pakistan. Like I don't trust sending Vice President Vance to Pakistan. That's yikes. I am Battlefield for 2. Rubio for governor of Cuba. Yeah, that's real. Yeah, right here. Trump said that Vance, Secretary of State Rubio, his son-in-law Jared Kushner, and Steve Witkoff are currently negotiating. Okay, so they might actually send the 4. Okay, it says they're unclear about it. I don't know what to think about this. Do they send all 4 of them there? I don't think so. I think they send Vance and Kushner and Witkoff. You don't want to send everybody like that. It's kind of pushing it. We'll see. Didn't Kemp literally pick a failed head coach for Tennessee Volunteers for Senate? Yeah, and he's doing awful right now. All right, I guess one more thing before I forget. We got to talk about the funniest report of the day, and actually some pretty big news out of Latin America. I forgot to bring this up. So, yeah. Let me find this. So just a little while ago, it was reported, or yesterday. Hold on. Spikes for 2. If something happens to Vance, what would happen? If they did something to harm Vance, Iran would not exist in a day. I'm not even exaggerating. I would not want to know what Trump would do. If they try to do something to Vance and Rubio, yeah, Iran would be gone in a day. You think the strikes are bad now? It might get pretty bad. But yeah, so a little while ago, it was reported that a Pentagon official says recent U.S.-backed strikes at Ecuador are just the beginning of a wider military campaign across Latin America. So they have begun bombing the shit out of the cartels and these other groups in Latin America. And the operation is called, I'm not even joking, Operation Total Extermination. Yeah. So we're currently bombing the shit out of the cartels and other gangs and stuff, and we're calling it total extermination. Yeah. With a name like that, you can probably guess where this is going. Oh my gosh. This is a wild name. Yeah, I can't believe they actually named it this. Who's coming up with these names? Epic Fury. What's the one in Venezuela? What was that called again? Let's fucking go. Yeah, I support bombing the cartels. If it helps Americans, I support it. Will the Save America Act pass the Senate? I don't think it's going to, but Mike Lee's trying. He's trying his hardest. Yeah, I can't go that name. Operation Total Extermination. Did Trump make is Trump picking these names? I think he actually said that. I think he's picking the names, the operations. They give him like a list of names, like, hey, President Trump, like, well, what do you support? Like, well, what name do you want here? And he picks like Epic Fury and Total Extermination. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Midnight Hammer. Yeah, that was the name of it. I forgot about that. That was a good name. Midnight Hammer. American Nerd for 2. Who comes up with these cool operation names? It's the Department of War. Somebody there. Yeah, Trump is picking these names. I think he said that. Like he was picking the names. Yeah, American Century of Humiliation. Yeah, I see that. Yeah, Elon Musk, what is he doing? Like, dude, can you ban these third world accounts already? This is stupid. Yeah, the comments are just pathetic. It's literally humiliation and Epstein. Yeah, it's the usual slop. Usual slop. K-Cup for 2. Next one, Operation Let's Effort Go, boys. It happens in Spain. Yeah, I agree. Okay, yeah, the Operation Take Maduro was Operation Absolute Resolve. That's right. Operation Absolute Resolve was the Venezuela one. Maduro's still in jail. Yeah, has anyone heard from him the last 3 months? Is he just chilling in jail? He's kind of fine with it. American Nerd for 2. Operation Fuck Around and Find Out. Yeah, that's real. Okay, everybody. I think that's kind of it. If everybody did enjoy, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends. And of course, join the channel today. Yep. All right. We'll see you guys next stream, video, or wherever you see us at.